A special thank you goes out to all my patrons this month. Your support of the channel is the string that guides me through the Minotaur's maze. A maze. That is what the prey calls this place. Its many winding walls, misleading signs, and blind corners spell doom for most that wander here. But not for us. Confusion and panic sets in as prey races from corridor to corridor, dead end to dead end, the fear becoming palpable as they realize they are forever trapped in an endless hall of stone. But not for us. I always know where I have been. All my kind do. These so-called labyrinths hold no secrets for us. They hold no fear for us. This is just one of many gifts bestowed unto the Minotaurs. This underground labyrinth is where I was born, and where my herd travels. It snakes its way under rivers and mines, emerging into a large desert canyon. A maze above and below. It makes my kind feel at home. My father was the largest bull in the herd. His enormous cresting horns marked with demonic runes, and dyed a reddish black with the dry blood of a dozen kills, telling the story of those that were impaled upon them. My mother was one of many cows in his harem, but she was of little consequence. It was my father that taught me the most important lesson of any true Minotaur. Strength is truth. Civility is a lie. Brutality is the way of a true Minotaur. We were not made to be docile cattle, roaming the pastures of men and elves and other weaklings, hiding behind walls and shields, unlike our so-called civilized cousins. Strength, savagery, fury, bloodlust. These civilized cattle may call them markers of our barbarism, proof that we are lesser, cursed, and fallen. But these are no curses. No! They are blessings. Gifts from our bestial lord, meant to be embraced. Even our weak, civilized cousin Minotaurs can feel it in their blood. The hunger for flesh. The call to roam and gore. To hunt down the strongest foes and crush them beneath your cloven hooves, mounting their bones as trophies. The one who bestowed our kind with such gifts was none other than the Demon Lord of Beasts, the Horned King of the Great Labyrinth, Baphomet. He is our father, and we Minotaurs are all his children, made in his own brutal, savage image. Those of us that embrace the demon blood he granted us are the only ones worthy to be called Minotaurs. When his blood flows strong through our veins, we grow larger, stronger, more furious, and live far longer than those weaklings who chose the comforting blanket of civilization. These truths were beaten into me as a young child. Every day I would witness my father impale another challenger upon his mighty horns, or crush them beneath his hooves. Every day I would fight with my brothers, and the older males of the herd. We would bloody our knuckles, our hooves, our horns, our teeth, every inch of us scarred, battered, or broken. None of us held back. None of us wanted to. By the time I was 2 years old, my horns were fully grown. I stood near as tall as a man, and could fight an orc without aid. An orc, in fact, was my first kill. He was a hunter, and wielded a spear and knife with skill, but skill fails in the face of true strength. A performance for those too weak to drag down their prey with horn and hoof. When backed into a corner, when faced with certain death, all things become possessed by their instinct to survive, by the thing inside of them that cries out for blood and violence like a man dying of thirst in the desert cries out for water. They become possessed by their inner beast. Another truth of the Horned King. When his spear and knife were broken, when the facade of skill and honor were thoroughly trampled, the beast within him finally emerged and locked horns with mine. The orc's inner beast proved lesser, and I claimed his skull as my first trophy. When I have lived for 5 winters, I stood taller than a man and was far stronger than one. Having long since outgrown my mother and all the other cows of the herd, I now sought only greater kills. Among my most memorable challenges were other young bulls of the herd. They sought to kill me, to take my horns as a trophy, to devour my flesh, make my strength their own, and elevate their status within the herd. Their horns now lay upon my breast in a woven wool necklace, next to my other trophies. As I grew, the beast within grew with me. Though I feasted greatly on flesh each day, the flesh of weaklings is hardly satisfying. It was from these same weaklings that I gathered my trophies, the countless skulls of kobolds, goblins, humans, orcs, none of them worthy of a true warrior of Baphomet. The beast within cried for a greater challenge. Its sights were set on my father, the still chieftain bull of my herd. I needed more trophies, better trophies to be a worthy challenger. My search for a worthy trophy was answered in the nearby caves. A massive ogre had made its home there. It was even larger than I, with arms that swelled with muscles like cables of woven steel. As I locked eyes with the ogre, our inner beasts roared at each other in silent challenge. The battle was far too long, almost shamefully so. The sun had only just risen in the east, and when it was over, it was low in the western skies. Our battle was strength against brute strength, savagery against brutal savagery. With each terrible blow struck, flesh would part, bones crunched, teeth cracked, and blood flowed till it was a small stream into the darkness of the ogre's cave. My inner beast cried all the louder. In the back of my mind, I could hear the call of Lord Baphomet, crying out in rage and ecstasy. As the ogre's massive and bloodied body fell to earth, I let out a single cry of triumph before collecting my reward. This kill provided a feast of fatty meat, and the skull of the ogre would make an excellent trophy. As I enjoyed the choicest cuts of my spoils, a glint caught my eye. Among a pile of bones, I had uncovered a large axe, likely made by men or dwarf, as no true Minotaurs ever bother working iron or steel. Still, no true Minotaur would turn down such a grand instrument of death. This was how I would achieve my rightful place as the dominant bull of the herd. With the axe and skull of the ogre in hand, and the vicious blood of Baphomet burning through my veins, I was granted the right to challenge my father for dominance of the herd. I was only 10 years old, but I towered over humans and most of the other Minotaurs. Only my father could look me in the eye without craning his neck. But he was old, I was younger and would prove myself the true dominant bull. There was no music, no grand speech, no threats or boast. The only sounds to be heard was that of horns locking, bones breaking, metal weapons clanging against each other, all accompanied by a chorus of braying and stomping minotaurs, eager to witness the brutal slaughter. My horns were stained crimson, wetted with my father's blood. There were no parting words, no bittersweet farewells, dying wishes, or cries of vengeance. The children of the Horned King have no need for such pathetic sentiments or mercies. Such things are for prey. The only parting gift I gave my father was a quick death, as my axe split his skull. Before his body was cold, I had pulled his left horn from his crushed head, cleaving the tip and blasting a bellowing call through it like a human trumpet. The loud call resonated with the braying roars of the herd. My herd! The demon blood boiled within my veins, and the blasting of my new war horn sounded like the braying roar of the Horned King himself. I never felt more alive. The herd was mine. My father's old harem of cows, his supply of slaves, and all the plunder he'd gathered was mine now. But it's not enough. I need my own trophies, my own slaves. I will lead a new herd to greater challenges. Our plunder will grow with our numbers. We will drown this canyon in a ferocious tide of raw muscle, sharp horns, and unshakable bloodlust. Then we will fill our bellies with the meat and plundered booze of our fallen prey. We are the sons of Baphomet, children of the Horned King. We are Minotaurs, and our inner beasts shall never be sated.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this type of content and you want to see more, then hit subscribe, leave a like, share the video around. It's the best way to support the channel, and I really appreciate it. If you feel like going the extra mile in support, check out my Patreon, where you can get early access to polls deciding topics on the next video. The poll for episode 4 of Through the Eyes of a Monster is already up on there, so go check it out if you want your voice heard first. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!